Hi guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Camila and I make videos all about content creation, UGC freelancing, and a bit of entrepreneurship. I wanted to show you guys how much I made as a UGC creator in 2024. It was my first year actually making money as a UGC creator and I took it on full time in 2024. So these are totally realistic numbers. Just a disclaimer, my numbers are a little bit all over the place. I am not the most organized person. So I was looking back at kind of like my spreadsheet. I like to track how much I make and it's not the best. Towards the end of the year, I kind of fell off from actually writing down everything that I make. And I like Google Sheets to track it because I can just log into any advice and access these spreadsheets. I did not start making money from UGC until about April. So for the first 3 months of the year, I think I had like maybe 1 or 2 UGC deals a month. And I only really got those because I also have an influencer account. So I was able to get a few deals, but I wasn't like heavily invested into UGC yet. So for January, February, and March, I don't even have a spreadsheet or numbers for that. If you've been following the journey, you can see on my channel, I had quit my 9-to-5 job in late 2023 and I was just figuring stuff out, trying to make content creation work. And it actually took me about 6 months to start making like noticeable money with UGC. So I started in the fall of 2023, but I didn't start making money, or at least good money, until April of 2024. You've probably heard it before. You may be in it right now. It will take a little bit of time to actually build up your sales funnel and your personal brand and to start receiving inbound leads, all that kind of stuff. I actually started my UGC journey, I guess, in April with a bang because I ended the month with $3,900. You can see the breakdown of all of my UGC gigs here. A lot of my gigs came from Upwork at the time because that's just where I started. I don't know about you and if you're a UGC creator, but I do not like sending outbound email pitches. So I relied heavily on these freelancer platforms like Upwork and Fiverr. I didn't start getting into Fiverr until a couple months after. Like I'm on there now and I still do work on there, but Upwork was like the breakaway for me to hit my first couple 4-figure months. As you guys just saw in the breakdown, you'll notice that I did a lot of UGC videos and I don't know what the average video dollar amount would be, but I know from Upwork, a lot of the deals I got were around the $100 range, $150 range, and I definitely know I accepted some videos under $100. Of course, everything on Upwork and Fiverr is in USD, so US dollars, and me being Canadian, when I convert that, there's one good thing, I can make a little bit of extra money just from the conversion because our Canadian dollar is so bad. So though the deals are kind of low paying on these freelancer platforms, if you are outside of the US, chances are at least it's a little bit of extra money for you just from the conversion alone. So for example, if I close a $200 deal on Upwork, that's technically basically $300 for me. So I just counted for the month of April of 2024, I did about like 18 UGC videos, and that is a lot. Like, trust me, it was a lot of work. But by the end of the month, I looked back and I couldn't believe that I basically made $4,000 just from making content. So yes, I did work hard, but it also taught me a lot of things about the UGC industry and about personal branding and growing my brand, because 1 month before this, I probably made around $200 or $300 for the month. Like, it wasn't even enough to track on a spreadsheet. So I don't have those months. Moving on to May, we had another good month and I just continued the hustle. I saw how good April was, so I just kept doing everything that I was doing. And I closed the month of May with $3,600 and I have everything tracked right there. You can notice I did a little bit less of UGC videos. Doesn't look like there are 18 on here. More than half of these are Upwork. Anyways, $3,600 is a good amount of money if you're working for yourself and you're less than a year in, basically just 6 months in. Like that, I still couldn't believe I was able to close May with that. Moving on to June, we made a little bit less in June, so we closed the month with $3,300. It looks like I was just kind of doing the exact same things, a lot of Upwork deals. I see that I have a Fiverr deal in here, so now I started getting into Fiverr. And I was also using another UGC platform called Vidovo. I'm still on there today. And just looking at this list, a lot of these clients I ended up working with for like weeks and months afterwards, just with recurring videos. So clearly, I guess I was doing something right and I was improving and I was getting recurring clients. So that of course helps with your future months and maintaining what you make. And you can probably already tell just by looking at some of this that it is not the most organized like profits. Some of these are in USD, some of them are in Canadian, and especially for like the Upwork and Fiverr deals, I don't account the 10% that the platforms take. So some of these numbers, like my end goals, don't even account for that. But that's okay because I do leave a lot of these in USD anyway. So the final number for the end of the month it's not very accurate. If they are left in USD, just know I'm actually making more than what I'm projecting my final total. So for the month of July, I'm now 3 months into making consistent 4-figure months. This was a lower month for me. I'm actually trying to understand why and like what was going on. Honestly, if I can just say, it was probably a little bit of burnout, I think. This was like half a year ago now. You could see from all of these previous months that I was doing a ton of UGC, anywhere from like 10 to 20 a month, and they take a lot of time and effort, right? So I think in July I was like, I took a tiny step back and really prioritized which gigs I wanted to do, like which ones would pay me and all that stuff. It still looks like the average UGC deals that I was doing were still around like 100 USD to 200 USD. I started to get more recurring clients. Once again, some of these names I still work with to this day actually. But yeah, I closed July with just over $2,300, which is not a ton. And at the time, my rent for my condo was basically $1,800 a month. So after paying my rent, I'm only left with $500 basically, and that doesn't account for utilities, Wi-Fi, groceries. So I'm really not making or saving too much this month. Of course, my partner helps me and supports me as well. July, I think I took a step back a little bit. I was just from burnout. Into August, I can see that we picked things back up. It also looks like I did a lot in August, so I did a lot of deals. You can pause it if you want. I know in August, I actually did contract some pretty good deals out of the month. Still working with some of the retainer clients or recurring clients on this list, which is good. It looks like I did accept some lower paying gigs, probably because I knew that I made less in July, so I wanted to like pick that back up. For the month of August, I finished with around 3,700 Canadian dollars. Once again, a lot of these numbers on here aren't even converted to Canadian. So in my profit column, a lot of these are USD, which honestly I just keep as USD because in my head I can kind of make a mental note that I'm making a little more than that. And I rather estimate these numbers on the lower end rather than the high end. So at the end of the day, it's like, okay, you actually made a little more than this. Maybe if all of these numbers were converted to Canadian, it would have been 4,000 for the month. And now I can see this is when I started to fall off on my spreadsheet. The month of September was actually my highest paying month. And maybe I was so busy I didn't finish filling out this spreadsheet. I closed the month with $4,400, and some of these dollar amounts are in USD, some of them are in Canadian, so it probably was a little bit higher than $4,400 after the conversion. I remember this month being good. I was extremely busy. I also traveled for 1 week, so I was off and I was still able to make over $4,400 for September. I'm still continuing to work with a lot of the freelancer platforms here like Upwork, Fiverr, and Fidovo, which honestly isn't bad. It looks like a lot of these are higher paying. I did get a 4-figure deal from X on here, I can see. So they paid me $1,350 for, I believe it was 3 videos. That was a really good deal for me. And then for October, we had a smaller month. I don't know if this is because I didn't track everything, but the dollar amounts seem okay. And actually in October, I picked up a new retainer client that definitely helped. You can see I only had about 8 to 9 lines for the month of October. It looks like I was really prioritizing maybe like higher paying gigs rather than quantity of gigs, because honestly, like I did experience a lot of burnouts in 2024 because it was just hustling so hard. And honestly, I don't want to say like picking all the low-hanging fruit, but when you're new in this space, you have to do what you have to do to get experience. And that's just what I was doing. I did not accept any gifted UGC collaborations. A lot of new UGC creators do because it's a good opportunity to get content to showcase on your portfolio. Since I already was doing the influencer thing, I already had videos, so I jumped straight to paid work. The first UGC deal I ever accepted was I accepted the deal for $50, and I actually remember it being just such a stressful experience because I had no skills or experience with filming and editing, and I thought it was so difficult, and I actually had to refilm the video because apparently the lighting wasn't on point in the first one. So I was like pulling my hair out for this $50 video thinking, what am I doing? This isn't for me. Lo and behold, 6 months later, I'm making multiple 4-figure months doing the exact same thing, and it just becomes so much easier. But if you're just stressing because it's your first one, that's totally normal. It is stressful for your first deal. So for October, I made $2,450. Most of these figures are in USD, so just inflate those numbers a little bit. I moved out of my condo at the end of October, so that I know had an impact on how much I made because I was like stressed moving and, you know, big life changes. And coming into November, it actually looks, I did track November slightly, although I don't think this is like a finalized list. I really don't. But November, I closed the month with $3,400. You'll probably notice a lot of these are abbreviated. That's just how I kind of like make my list. So I closed the month with $3,400, and I actually did this by living, while still living at my in-laws. So yeah, it's a good amount to make considering I just went through a move. I'm not in my like typical filming environment, but I was still able to retain a lot of all of my clients, all of my retainer clients, and I picked up some new business as well. I also did a really exciting deal with the Bumble dating app in November. That is probably my most well-known brand to this day that I've worked with. They reached out to me through an agency, so I didn't deal directly with Bumble, but I made 3 videos for them, and there's multiple hooks in those videos, but for the 3 videos, I closed at $1,150. And honestly, like, not to like regret anything, but I do feel like I missed an opportunity to make so much more with my Bumble deal, which I can like go through in a separate video because it's like a long spiel. Anyways, I'm grateful that I was still able to make basically $1,200 for November just from that one deal. And that basically is a big reason why November we're basically at $3,500 because I didn't feel like I worked a lot. Unfortunately, I did not track December at all. I didn't even put one thing. The holidays were going on. December was a really like chill and relaxful month. I did not work a lot, although I kept all of my retainer clients, and I'm actually so happy that I have them. I have 3 of them, and they just help me keep my numbers afloat. So I'll always recommend having at least one retainer client in your freelancing business. Okay, I literally just had to delete a lot of stuff off my phone because I ran out of storage, but to kind of finish off with how much I made in 2024 with UGC, I just added up all the totals, and my final number came out $27,171 for $27,000. And take in, this doesn't include anything from the first 3 months of the year, so this is April to December. And just in general, I took a lot of time off here and there this year, although of course I like hustled and grinded a lot to make this work, but in terms of just like work-life balance, there was so much of that. And luckily I have a few other income streams that help support this number, so UGC is not the only thing that I do. So I'm pretty content with $27,000. This number might not be 100% accurate because some of those numbers were not converted into Canadian, but I am kind of just happy knowing in my first year of doing UGC, that is how much I made. Going forward, I do want to prioritize higher paying deals. So I'd like to see more of that in 2025. I'll still be tracking everything that I make. I just have to get better at organization. And I think 2024 was a huge success with what we were able to achieve. Right now, with it being like the new year and all, I'm actually not heavily chasing new business. Like I'm not like always, you know, applying to things, which I actually need to get back into, but I've been happy just working with inbound leads and my retainer clients right now. I do need to flip the switch and start chasing new business again so that I can start seeing potentially some higher months and hopefully work more on my negotiation skills with brands, especially with house name brands. That would be a huge plus this year if I can see some more of those. I hope this video gave you guys a little bit of transparency into what you can make as a UGC creator with realistic numbers. I hope the breakdowns helped you guys a bit too. Those are actually my numbers for the year, and stay tuned for other income reports that I'm gonna push out on my channel. Okay guys, I appreciate you. If you're still watching, it means so much. I would love if you could like and comment on this video to help boost my account, and I will see you guys in the next one.